continue with what we were doing in our PR and social media committee from last time, where we're talking about putting out a competition, and Christine did email back again saying that she will have the OTI, can put it on the website. So we'll have to create that poster.
So
So you're gonna take it up from that point. Hi, Salwa.
I saw. So I sent an email. I don't know if you all received it with a link where I never got anyone requesting permission to the docs. I wasn't sure. Looking at the email, there was a lot of email addresses. I don't know exactly who those emails. Not all the emails are obvious. So I was waiting for people to accept, but I had shared a bunch of stuff a month ago and I never heard anything back. So that there was a meeting last week on the 13th. It's in the meeting notes that we have using. I even put the link and everything. So I don't
think I got it. I don't remember seeing it.
Did you, Emily, are you saying you sent an email developing like
replied-
guidelines?
I replied to the email that we were all. I had sent it. I had just replied all, and I had sent that one before the one that I sent about the monopoly. So
I got the Monopoly one, but I didn't get anything.
I didn't get anything either.
I see Monopoly. There's a follow-up from last night's meeting, but that doesn't
I think
have,
that was about the date.
yeah.
We were trying to decide what date to meet.
Usually the way I.
That was back in February, you think?
Yeah, it was definitely in February. But it was a response to the follow-up from last night. And there was a response to it. Like I have actually, you guys did. You saw it, but there was a lot I put in there, and then I think we decided it kind of that got glossed over, and we were talking about setting up this meeting. So it was in that.
Is this the one where you talk about?
I'm gonna
I can
pull up
link
the
the
link.
flyer, and you've added links to a working campaign.
Yeah. Yep. All that.
Document
That's
for
the one.
graphic mock-ups for social media posts.
Yeah, I did yeah, that was everything that I shared that I had so far. And like if there was any feedback you had, I could have tweaked it. Just trying to get the ball rolling. So if we had the green light to go ahead, that we had a lot of it built out and ready to.
Sure. So that was at February 20th at 6:22 p.m. And what I don't see in that email.
Isn't there a link in that email?
I've added a link to a working campaign document in the meeting notes.
Yeah.
I don't think I. Did you
I'm
send it
looking
to
at the
everyone?
meeting
Did you
notes.
send that
Yeah.
email to everyone?
Yeah, I respond to everyone. Everyone has that one. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Well, what we need is the link to the working campaign document.
Yep, that's the one.
I don't see a link. I see it. Oh, down at the bottom.
I just put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
I also,
Requesting. Oh no, I don't want to request access for that. For that group, forget it.
Salwa, are you? I think you're muted.
Emily, you'd think like 17 years into remote work we'd be able. Emily, do you think you could maybe reply to the email from today just with that link, because I'm on my computer versus my device where my video is. Thank you so much. I'm sorry to trouble you.
Emily, could you also send it to me as well, because I don't see it in my email.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and just gonna
Thank you.
one.
I'm sorry, Emily, that I missed that.
No, it's okay. I mean, I thought everyone was busy and there was something else, or we would discuss it later. I just did send it, and I was like.
One issue is also the link to the working document is in our notes document.
Yes, but I will
not in
also
the
send
email.
it in. Respond to.
So what you're saying, there's a link from the working document to the.
So in the document that we've been using, take notes from our meetings. I had.
Oh, you're breaking up a lot, Emily.
Am I?
Yeah, your
the
voice
audio.
is static. There's a lot of static.
But yeah, so in that CB6 website revisions design notes page that I had created and we've been working on, Emily edited that and she added within the logo contest section, at the bottom of the logo contest section, there's a link there for competition campaign doc.
Okay.
And that
Okay.
links to the Google Doc that she's just provided the link for in our chat on this WebEx.
Yeah.
So
you'll
how
probably have-
does the Google form play out over here?
How does Google Form play out? I don't understand, Renee.
We're gonna have a Google form with all
So-
the description.
Oh, yeah, we will, but before we get there, this competition campaign document that Emily's talking about, we need to set up guidelines. We haven't
Yeah.
Right.
created the guidelines. So that's
Yeah, I
the
just
step.
kind of did like a overall framework, and then we can get into the nitty gritty.
So Emily, you should, oh, it looks like I'm now in. Thank you.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry, my phone is blowing up. That's what's causing my audio interference. I'm also trying
Oh.
to find.
This is a lot of work. This is great. Thank you, Emily. Are people able to get into that document now?
As I grant them access, yeah. Let me. So is the email have the under Kavish Bata, that one?
Literally like whatever, like you can, you know, the latest one that you can find from us.
Okay, let me go look for the one.
Or you you know, whatever is easiest. It's also saluabaida@gmail. If that's easier to type in, like just to add the permission now rather than forwarding the email. What's weird is like I sort of remember that email, but I don't see it. It's the weirdest thing. It's like Emily, Maka, and I'm just not pulling anything up. It's
It's okay. You can just follow this link now in the chat.
yes, exactly. I can't get it off the chat, which is why I was asking for it via email or through the permissions.
problem.
But
Emily, when you get a
yes.
chance, I just need access to it. It should be Queen CB6C Nolan.
I did see yours come in, and I granted you access. You don't
Okay,
have
let me
it?
try clicking. Let me try again.
Yep.
I think I lost the link. Hold on.
I'm going to reply to the
I have it
email.
now.
Cool. I'm going to reply to the
There
email
you
that
are. You're in.
sent out with the. No, that was just.
All right, right. And so we had mentioned at our last meeting that we would request the full board's
Mhm.
approval for doing this campaign at that
I
meeting.
think before we do that, we should set up our guidelines, what we want, so that we are all in the clear before we actually ask them to approve, because they may have a lot of questions as to how we're going out with this. So we've got everything put out, and then we go back to the board next month and let them know this is what we need approval for.
Okay. So yeah, so Renee, when you are given access,
Okay. Renee,
you can see that
that's
Emily's
solid.
taken a really good shot at kind of setting a lot of that up.
Okay.
Yeah, because my understanding at last meeting was we were going to go ahead and ask the board. We were going to get this shared out, reviewed, and then talk to the board. And so if they had got the green light from the board, that we could then just go ahead and.
Right. So Christine and I spoke about it, and Christine decided that she'd do it after this meeting, right, Christine? You can go ahead and tell them.
So, yeah, so our March meeting was really quite busy, and we had a lot of votes that we had to take. So sometimes we have to
Yeah, I saw-
prioritize, unfortunately.
I did see that on some Facebook pages, there was a lot about the Long Island Railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
think April will be a much quieter meeting, hopefully. So I think it would
Paula?
be better to talk about it in April after this meeting, once we have, like Renee said, a little bit more information.
So well, you should see an email saying I gave you access to the document. All right.
Yes, I was in the document now.
Awesome. I'm not looking at the logo. Sorry. My computer's. So yeah, so if you, this is kind of how I work at work. when I do like a full blown campaign from start to finish. So I put in a lot of this stuff in here. Just like basic background, so on and so forth, that like present and explain it, why, whatever the goals are. Figured also double whammy goal is community engagement, getting signups, registration, and following us on our social media platforms. Because if we post it to our social media platforms as well, we can probably increase engagement that way.
Oh, your audio is still a mess.
Oh my God. All right. I'm gonna sign off and sign into my other computer. This computer just had a massive factory reset. I will be back in like 5. You guys just go ahead and talk.
Okay. I guess we're all just reading over this real quick.
Okay. What's the next point that we should now discuss after this?
I'm looking at this, and Emily's done a great job of
I
kind
need
of
that.
providing
I need to see that email, which I'm not able to. Okay,
in the-
here it is.
in the chat.
I
That
should
link
put
in
in
the
the
chat.
chat. Okay.
If you look at the chat, you'll see a Google Docs link. You click on that, and it probably says you need permission, so you just submit the request for permission, then Emily will grant that.
Interestingly, I don't see the chat and icon over here.
You don't have that little bubble icon for chat?
I don't see that. I'm looking for it. I don't seem to have it.
On my computer, it's in the bottom right corner.
I'm gonna try
I'm
to add
looking
you
at
if I
it.
have permission. I'll try to
Okay,
share it
let's
with
see
you.
more options. Okay, might just find something here.
Or maybe
Okay. I've added you. Let's see if you go to your Gmail, Dr. Mara, you might then see it. Because I added you since she gave us editing and sharing rights. I just added you to the document. It's called QCB6 logo competition. This thing is beautiful. I love a good document.
Okay. Oh, this looks really good.
Well, we'll still need to do it. This doesn't provide the guidelines. It provides
Yeah.
kind of the structure for the campaign, which is
Mm.
brilliant.
But it's still a good preparatory document.
Yeah, I love that campaign tracker. I want to now use it every document.
Me too. Me too. It's a beauty.
While
Okay,
we're
I'm
waiting
clicking
for
through to some.
Emily, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Paula.
No, go ahead. No, I was just saying that I was going to start clicking on some of the links to see what they lead to. Like I see that the announcement is kind of ready so that when we wanted to, we could put that into the main community board main website page.
Mhm.
And that would invite like calling all graphic designers. So that's really cool. Sorry, go ahead, Christine.
No, I was just gonna, I looked up some other community board logos, just so we have an idea of what some other boards use. I don't know if you want me, I could share my screen if you want to take a look at some of them.
Oh yeah, that's great.
No. So some of them are from other boroughs. So like a lot of them use either their borough seal or the city seal in some shape or form. I don't know if that's like a direction that you guys were thinking of going. This is Bronx Community Board 8. versus Bronx.
The,
Repeat
the
again.
graphics over here, the 1600 by 900 pixels, is that the one Christine OTI has approved? 1200 by
Um,
630?
I think
Sorry.
so, yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, yeah.
Back.
Welcome back,
The
Emily.
graphic sizes that you see there that says 1600 by 900 px, if you notice, it's for
Yeah.
X. The 1200 by 630 is for FB. The one that OTI approved, it's listed under CB6 landing page, Graphic Hero 600 by 460.
Yeah.
That's their dimensions that they gave us.
Okay.
So
Mm.
it's all I literally broke it out by each channel and each graphic that you need for each channel. Tweak the copy a little bit for each channel, so on and so forth. It's just templated and mocked up. So we like it, we go with it, that kind of thing. But that was just to like advertise the competition.
Mm-hmm.
What I still haven't fully fleshed out was like the poster for like the poster or the PDF with all the guidelines and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Google form that was in there was what we were talking about, like how they would go
Yeah.
ahead and submit it. And then in that Google form, there would be that tick box where the terms and conditions. So I think I had started it just as like a template or like just so we have the copy in there. Cause I know there's a lot of legalese that like someone should review and like edit and so on and so forth. So I'm
The
sorry.
waiver, the waivers as well. We can put the waiver there too.
The waiver would be in, yeah, that would be like the little checkbox that they're agreeing to. Terms
Yeah.
and conditions, the waiver I hereby, that would all be in the Google form when they're submitting their submission for the competition. I'm sorry, is my audio better now?
Yes,
Yeah.
much better.
So sorry, my other computer died. I literally had it factory reset, and so stuff is still loading, and I guess audio on that is not so great.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to have missed about a couple minutes, but that's just, yeah, that's
We were just fanboying over your document. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Look, we do need to create, well, two things. So one, to get back, just as you were coming on, Christine was sharing with us some logos that she had seen. And I think, you know, since we're doing a competition, at least the starting position is we don't necessarily have anything in mind. Let's, you know, this is for the competitors to kind of come up with ideas. But I think there is a range from the very traditional kind of city seal, borough seal, some variant of that, running to like one of the logos you showed, Christine, was kind of a borough map with the name of the board on it, to maybe if those of us who were on the board at the time remember back to the logo Alexa had created at one time that we were using for social media purposes, not for the letterhead though. And that was kind of just a very kind of colorful blending of string color bars and stuff with CB6 on it. And, you know, people can get creative. And then when we whittle it down from all the submissions to 20 or so to send, maybe that's where we want to make sure we offer the board a range of different types from the traditional to the more creative. And then the board can take it from there. But the thing that I think we need to do next then becomes creating actual guidelines, because there's some rules, not only that people agree to waive any copyright, but also like, can a person submit only one submission? Can they submit 3? Can they do 5? Do we want to put a limit on how many different submissions an individual can send in?
thinking, because sometimes, so I was thinking about that, like in terms of limits. I feel like we might not get a lot. It also, we said we're giving them a month to make the logo. I feel like maybe in a month, if you have like a really good solid graphic designer that's partaking, they can probably bang out like 5. But I feel if we want to put a limit, maybe we can say like 3 max per person.
Yeah,
Anyone
that makes
suggest
sense.
that?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was thinking on the lines too. Yep.
I'm putting it in our notes so that I can go back and just flesh out the form a little.
Yeah, I mean, I think 3 is fine. 5 might not be bad, but 3 is kind of what first.
I think
time.
depending on the traffic, Peter, if we get a lot of traffic, then 3 is okay. If we don't get too much traffic, then 5, but we have to obviously figure out in the guidelines what exactly we're looking for. I think 3 is decent, 5 is great, but I don't know how many people are gonna be participating.
Right. If
I
we get
think
a
3
lot,
is a
it could be
happy
overwhelming.
middle.
Okay. Anyone else disagree on that or agree or?
I think 3 months is great because we can always extend.
And
Did you
then,
say 3 months?
oh, we're talking number of submissions per person, Salwa. 3
per
submissions per person.
3 submissions per person
And better.
Okay. 1 month. 1 month to do it.
in 1 month,
3
yeah.
months, 3
I
submissions
thought we
per
had said
person.
3 months.
No,
No.
And sorry, I'm
1
trying to
month.
turn off my audio because I'm trying to use both the computer and be able to
Yep.
see you guys here. And there's a reverberation situation.
Okay, no problem. In terms of what you were talking about, I did see when I logged in, Christine was sharing a graphic of like different logos. I was thinking we could do in like our poster, PDF poster, we could do like a mini banner of like QB6's logos past. Like this is what we've had before, some inspiration with some other community boards use. I don't know if you want to do, because I feel sometimes looking at another logo can kind of give you inspiration on how to either improve or reiterate on it, or sometimes it kind of gets you stuck and you're like, oh, it should be somewhat like this.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
my worry is that if we offer it up, we not run the risk of kind of almost putting a thumb on the scale. Does it convey a message to people? We want something that looks roughly like this,
That's what I mean. Like it
and
can
we
be
limit
so.
submissions because people can Google and look at other people's logos for inspiration.
So then we could just stipulate, so the image should represent the community board, which is Forest Hills and Regal Park,
Right.
right? So the image should.
Right. Good point. Are there mandatory elements? Like you have to say it has to incorporate Queens Community Board 6?
Oh, I definitely think it should incorporate Queens Community Board 6.
Yeah, it definitely has to
Right.
say community board 6
That has to
somewhere
be
in the logo.
So I
Well,
also
the
added
office there is
in the
named.
chat, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but in the chat, I added a link to a NYPD Community Center logo contest official rules from 2019. So if you click on it, you can sort of see all the parameters that they laid out, and we could sort of potentially emulate what we like and not what we don't. But I agree what you were saying about like including CB6, including, I guess
Yeah,
maybe that's
those
the big
are
one.
essential components, yeah.
Oh, that's great, Salwa.
And then I do remember from past conversation, while it can be in color or line drawing, it has to be legible in black and white. So it has to be grayscale compatible. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So are we doing in black and white or any other color?
No, we can.
As long as it's legible in a black and white print.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because for the most part, like when we print things, like even like swag, if you want to call it, we're not going to be printing probably in like several colors. So like a lot of that will be like in one color as well.
I'm gonna write has to be legible in black and this is just so right now for rule guidelines, 3 submissions per person. Image should represent Forest Hills and Regal Park, aka Queens Community Board 6. Has to include Queens Community Board 6. Has to be legible in black and white for print. Anything else?
Do we put the name of the chair out there? Or no, that doesn't.
If you put the name of the chair, if the chair changes, you're gonna have to update that logo every time. So
Yeah.
I
quite
don't
honestly,
suggest that.
any changeable thing I would omit from the logo.
Agree. Plus, when using on letterhead, you just
And
incorporate.
yeah, change that in the
Document
letter.
will have that information with that logo right above it, so it's okay.
Now, into looking at colors, I mean, somebody can put a very glaring color. I don't expect somebody putting out a red color or an orange color because those are not gonna seem to be compatible with, at least it's all about
So then
optics.
that's the other thing.
Yeah, so that those colors should be avoided. So I don't know if we can put that in the guidelines.
So in terms of color, what I was gonna say more specifically is in terms of branding and in terms of like, you know, overall look and aesthetics, is there a palette that Queens Community Board 6 adheres to? Is it red, white, and blue?
Yeah.
Is it
I think
forest,
for
forest
the most,
green?
yeah, I think in the past, and I'm just speaking from my experience, it has mostly been like blue and white, but I think that's because most city agencies tend to use like those colors. It's not a requirement, but I think that, you know, that's what we've done in the past. Like most of our printing has been mostly like a navy and white kind of.
Because I like the logo obviously is going to go up on the website. So you do want the logo to like match and have a cohesive look with the website. And if we're not going to do drastic overhauls to the website in terms of like color palettes to match the logo should at least match the color palettes to the website. And then that can just be, and then once that's said and done, we can say this is now the color, the brand color palette for QB6 to stick to when creating other future, you know, posts or whatever.
The one thing is, you know, so we need to have, oh, I'm echoing, I sounds like. We need to make sure that this is grayscale compatible so it can be put onto a more formal letterhead. But I don't want us, at least at the competition level, to be kind of pre-limiting ourselves to how colorful this can get, because increasingly the use of this logo will be on social media, on a digital platform,
Yeah.
where the use of color is much more possible, and in fact, perhaps, you know,
Oh yeah, and digital
something
is
we
a
really
lot.
want to see.
Yeah, digital you have a wider range of colors than you do
Yeah.
in print. Yeah.
So let's say we may like the design of a particular person. We can always tweak the color later on. I mean, it's not like it's in black and white that whatever the design with the color, if we think that color doesn't go, it's not in sync with our website overall, then we can always kind of work out the color separately, not necessarily that we don't take that design. I may like the design, but I may not like a little bit of the color it sense in there, and we can change the color later on.
Oh, yeah, we could, because we'll retain rights to do such tweaking.
Yeah, so we can tweak those kind of things. Yeah.
So then in the rules and guidelines for the submissions, we're not gonna put restrictions on like stick to this color palette kind of deal or don't use these colors.
Well, on the other hand, you know, if we're dealing with something that has, you know, 1,500 different colors, that's problematic.
Of
I mean,
course.
is it, I don't actually know. So, but is it enough to say, you know, the color palette is primary colors, or do you need to spell out 4 or 5 or 3 specific colors?
I think, or we can actually let them know that this is our website, so see that it's all about optics in the end. So see that whatever design you're making with that color should kind of sync with our website. So then they have some sort of a sense as to how they want to put out the color.
I don't know if it has to, like, I mean, I do think, I don't think it has to match the website per se, because that's
Not
only one
match, but
Not
aspect
match,
of
but
it.
like complement. So
sync.
like you kind of build, so when we did the company I had worked at the last like 15 years has gone through a rebranding like 3 times. And a lot of the time it was a website with the color palette. So you have a color palette. We have like your, let's say your main 2 to 3 colors that are like on everything. And then you have like your secondary and your tertiary colors that all complement each other. And so then like, depending on what you're doing, like if you don't want everything, so our color palette had become this like pea soup green and orange. We really hated it. So we're like, we're going to go away from that. And we went with this like sky blue and navy blue and yellow as an accent. And then the thing is like, that was like in a lot of our stuff, but then it became too much. So then we did have like a pink and we had another shade of green that like a pop. So then you can like start swapping them out for that. So we had, it's like you have a branding guideline. It's like a marketing color palette. And so usually that will dictate what colors you use in your website, what colors you use in your logo. And so like, it's not to say you can't introduce other colors. It's just that those should be the main ones. And then you kind of like it all just works. And that way, I see you, Sala. That way, like, it also gives you easy recognition. Like when they see the logo, they can recognize like this is Queensborough Community 6. So, and everything that you put out, whether it's on your social or on your website, they recognize that that is who you are because it's just a recall. Yeah.
Sally, you want to say something?
Yes, please. I was just gonna comment that I think, right now, if you look at the website, it's all blue, black, and white.
Mhm.
And that's fine. But I would steer away from limiting any of the creativity at this point, because if we wanted to, remember we said in the waiver, we would
Yeah, we would.
reserve the right to alter. So we
Yeah,
could always
alter the
turn it into our own palette if desired. But I would just want to see what can people come up with, and I think the more limits you put on it, sometimes, you're going to get the same thing that we could have just gotten by continuing the use of the Queens County, seal or whatever it was we were using before. So
And
let
that's what I'm
people have
thinking.
fun with it as long as it's respectful and give it a go.
Yeah, I agree. Like I wasn't thinking of restricting colors. I mean, usually you have like your brand guidelines, and normally your logo dictates that first. So like we could have a logo and love it and be like, these are new colors. We got to update the website. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
never
know
know.
about that.
Makes
If we
sense,
come up
though.
with a
Yeah.
pink logo, I don't think the community board is gonna,
Well, I mean, okay, if they like the look of the logo, they don't like the pink, but then they're like, can we swap it for a different color?
It's a new day.
I understand. No, I get it. I just want everyone to realize that we are a city agency,
Mhm.
so it's a little different from like
Oh,
a
yeah.
business that can do whatever they want,
No,
I
that's
think
why
that
I'm
was the
trying to be
point I was
mindful of that.
making.
That's why I'm trying, like, do we want to limit or do we want to just see what we get and then alter it ourselves?
Yeah,
'Cause
no, I
we are
think
gonna
that's
stipulate
fine.
that.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
And I think people will sort of self-modulate anyway, right? If they know what it is and they know what they're actually competing for, then those are the ones that won't get picked if it doesn't kind of fit the vibe to some degree.
Mhm. I mean,
And probably can check with AI and see what AI has to say about the colors.
That
anything
makes
else?
sense.
Anything else that we want to like include like must-haves for the logo? So I got, again, image to represent, Queensborough Community 6 for ourselves, Regal Park. Has to include Queensborough 6, and so far just has to be legible in black and white for print.
Maybe size, if we know from the IT department what the size of that block on that front page,
So
what the
yeah, the whole,
parameters are.
so I don't know if you're gonna want the logo to be the image that greets us. I don't know, but those specs are in the document I have. But I feel like I'm thinking is that logo would be like your profile picture on Facebook, your profile picture on Twitter or X, sorry. So I'm thinking like I will find the specs for, we could say like this
Yeah.
logo will be used on these different settings. Therefore, we should get them in these dimensions. But I feel
Right.
like I don't know if we need to ask them for that up front or like
Yeah, Christine, maybe we should ask OTI for the specs of the logo,
What
just
is-
like they gave us specs for
Yeah,
the
but-
flyers, so.
I don't know that OTI would be giving us
OTI
for
will
our
only give us
social
the specs for
media
the website.
for the website.
So what
Yeah,
are the
that's what I was
specs of
thinking.
this logo that we have right now currently?
Which one?
The one that we have for CB6 at this point, so.
I added the Facebook dimensions to the chat.
Yeah, so there's two different things. So like on paper, you just size it to how you want it to look on the letterhead. I don't think there's
But
too
on
much in the way.
Facebook,
Facebook has rules itself about, or it has best size rules,
Mhm.
like how wide and how high it can be.
Can we also work like I instead of like telling them to design it to a certain size, like once we pick a winner, can't we then work with them and ask them to
reformat
resize it?
As
okay,
long as they give us, that's the thing, we are going to stipulate they have to give us the native files, right? The original files, the creative files that they use to create the logo. So then, if you want, so then that's the other thing. Do you want them to use Photoshop? Do you want them to use Illustrator? Do you want them to use Canva? Because if they're going to give you a Photoshop file or an Illustrator file, that anybody at the community board needs to have has to have Adobe program to open those files and manipulate them. Canva, for the most part, you can manipulate them with the free account. Unless someone has like a full-blown account, then there's no problem at all. But you can always resize the images. So that's the other thing. Do we want to limit them in what platform they're using to create the image?
Yeah,
Can't we let them use whatever platform they're most comfortable in, but as part of their submission, they must include either, you know, a JPEG or
Like a high res, yeah, a high.
some high-res JPEG or
or
whatever
PNG.
it is, PNG, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
Um,
specifically for logos versus photos or like profile pictures, the standard across a couple websites seems to be what I put into this chat. So we could always ask for like the standard logo dimensions, and like folks mentioned, we can always adjust accordingly. But that way we have like the standard logo size, and yeah, like you guys said, the PNG, JPEG, whatever they need to upload. It's in the chat.
Size of 180 by 180 for Facebook profile picture size. 90 pixel display, 820, 312 on desktops and 640, 360. I wonder what ratio that is. Nah. But I do feel like the logo, whether it's round or whatever, should be in a 1-to-1 ratio box, meaning it's like a perfect square box, and it could be a circle within that.
Yeah, I agree.
Once you have the original file, you can always move around some things, whatever you want in terms of size, in terms of color, in terms of formatting, if you have the original.
Yeah, that's why I say, you know, let them use whatever they want, because we can reformat, but also just provide us with something that any of us can open.
Yeah, so we don't restrict them over here. So Emily, you have 3 links, one for the announcement, one for the winners, and one for the finalists.
Yeah, I mocked up different copy for each. So like for each stage of the game, the graphic is very basic and simple. It's the same thing over, just changing up colors and whatnot. We can play around with that, but yeah, for each of the stage, just mock that up. That should be the native. SVG. Yeah. Yeah, so in it, yeah, promotion, the announcement, promoting it. So like we're going to announce it, then obviously they have a month, so we probably want to remind them or get people midway through. Then we have like finalists, like those that are finalists, and then when we have a winner, we should obviously include the winning image, shout out to that person, so on and so forth. I didn't do it yet, but we could just resize the files that we have. If we like the looks of those, we could resize the files for those and then create it for New York Link. I know that was brought up, possibly like looking into and advertising on those kiosks around the neighborhood. So we can do a poster for those. Those could be a little bit more detailed, so on and so forth.
So when they're sending back their designs, we're putting them in the Google form.
So that's what we were saying, last week. We were saying we could create a Google form where they can submit it, and it's just a matter of, so we would need, obviously, when we're creating the poster where they submit their submissions to, what the email address, like there's a link to the Google form, and then that Google form has to be linked up to an email address so we can have the folder where the submissions go and so on and so forth.
Will everybody have all the other people in the competition? Can they see what else has been done in the design? They don't. So
None of that stage.
Only the email.
Otherwise, it's gonna be difficult for.
Yeah. Did I create? Oh, did I not? I had a beginning somewhere. I lost it.
So I think I sent this in the email, but we have a community board Gmail account
Yes,
that we
we did
only
the-
use for like YouTube. So it has no, like, there's nothing stored in there. So we could use that email, link it to that email, and then I can just add everybody, give everybody access to the Google form.
So yeah, so the way that account will have to be logged into, and the Google form will have to be generated in that account. So
Yeah.
someone will have to be given access to it just to like put it in. But I realized I didn't put the Google form here. I had started it. So once we get all the copy and all the formatting to where we like it, then we can just literally copy and paste it into that account and have it set up, and then get the link to throw into all the copy for the social posts
Yeah.
and the
Correct.
PDF that we're going to create with the rules and guidelines that will be hosted on the website.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go look for
Oh,
it.
when you're muted.
Once we have the once
Sorry.
we have the landing page for the competition itself, it'd be useful to on the landing page as well as on the Google form that if for any reason people can't upload, say you run out of space because we had way more interest than we anticipated or whatever the case may be, that folks are able to send an email to and maybe offer two options just as a
Yeah.
backup.
So that's the other question I have, Christine. So the email the email account that we're going to be using for the Google form, can that also be the email that people can email to if there's an issue, or is that going to be a separate email?
I think it should, I mean, if it makes it easier, we can do that. I think in general, we only really give out our qn06@cb email. So I would like to stick to that if people have to contact us directly, just because we don't give out the Gmail account. It was set up primarily just for like our YouTube page. So I think it might confuse people if we start giving that out, even if it's just like for the contest.
That's
So-
Can we create another email account, Christine, just for this?
I mean, I think as long as they put in the subject, I don't think we have to create a separate email account. I think that, I mean, there's only 3 of us in the office, so the emails don't really get lost or anything. So, it'll be pretty easy, if we just give out the QN, our general email. And if people email to that, we'll find, we'll see it very easily, if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah.
And if you know what, if you have concerns about folks trying to start using the Gmail account, which is, like you said, mostly for YouTube purposes, you could also set an auto response so that if anybody emails anything
It goes
directly to
the
that
other
email, then it would, well, not even an auto forward, but an auto response that says to that person,
Oh,
please
please use this
email
email.
such and such QN CB06 instead, as that is where we will respond, or, something that
Confirmation.
this
kind of-
email
creates that
account is not
expectation.
monitored or something like that. Yeah.
exactly.
So I don't know if this is going to work. I put in the logo competition document that I put together. I threw in under where it says Google Forms, a link to the Google form that I had started. It is super rough. It really has almost nothing in there. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see it, but basically like there's a heading, a little blurb, and then I started with competition rules, what you need to know, and then like that, obviously what we just discussed would go there. And then obviously what the information we would want from them would be like their name, their email address, then to upload their logo design submission. And then at the bottom, I just put in really rough language for, I hereby agree that by submitting my design to Queens, Community Board 6, I agree that my design or any likeness may be used by Queens Board 6 as they choose. And obviously there's got to be a lot more specifics put in there. That's, that's where we can band together and just workshop it and dump it in there. I don't know if there's anything else you think needs to be added to this form other than those basic fields for the submissions. I don't know if it worked, if you guys got it.
I'm seeing it.
I'm looking at it now.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take from our notes though and add to the competition rules.
Yes, in the competition rules section, that'll be the basic, you may submit up to 3 separate submissions, must be this, must be that.
Yep.
And then at the bottom, the agree to the terms and conditions. Terms
Yeah.
and conditions will ultimately make into a hyperlink. And then since you've done so much work, Emily, what I can do is I can start with those contest rules
Mhm.
that Salwa found and change these up to kind of follow what we do.
Yeah.
Like a legal disclaimer, we need a proper,
Yeah.
like a legal disclaimer
Well,
with all
like
the
this
legal
document,
terminology.
this document has from paragraph 7 down has like all the legal language, which is great. I'll probably
Mhm.
take that almost verbatim, and the
Yeah.
top half of the document will need to be customized to what we're doing. This content, it kind of looks, oh, I'm echoing again. It looks like they might have offered prizes and stuff like that, which we're not doing as far as I know. So,
The,
you
bra-
know,
the prize is the bragging rights.
You can get a pen with your new logo on it.
yeah, I mean, we have maybe some pens and some bags, maybe
Oh yeah,
a
if there's
little
any
bit of bling.
flag that we're using that we're gonna
The
put the
winner
logo
can
on.
have one of each.
Yeah.
For free.
There we
Just like everybody else in the community.
But yeah, so I'm willing to do that.
Sounds good. Yeah, cool. If I don't know if you need access to the form to edit. I don't know if you can grant access to someone editing the form, but if anything, we could just like I can transfer.
I won't edit the form. I'll create this as its own standalone document.
Okay, cool. And then we could just put
And-
all the copy in there with the different
Right,
fields, and then
then you can edit the form to
look like that, and then we'll mirror it in the
Hyperlink
actual
The
to
like
link to it.
yeah.
put your hyperlink to it, like where it says terms and conditions. You'll just hyperlink this new document I'm creating.
And if we are gonna allow for 3 or 5 logos, the only edit I can think of to the form was to add the multiple logo design submissions.
Okay, so like there'll be like submission 1, submission 2, submission 3.
Exactly. So just, and Google Forms allows you to even duplicate it. So
Yep.
you can literally duplicate.
Trying to do
The
that right
only,
now.
the only difference would be that the current one has a requirement. So maybe the subsequent ones, you can turn off the requirement. And then the
So
other
they're not
thing.
required to include more than one.
Yeah, so that
signature.
only one is required and the others are optional. And then whenever I do Google Forms, I'm sort of obsessed with turning on the automatic email response, which emails the submitter a copy of what they submitted, which is in the settings.
Okay.
That is an
It drives me through the wall when I'm like, did I sign up for that thing? Did I not? Because some people don't automatically make their
Exactly.
Google form email you a copy of what you submitted.
In response, yeah. So,
I'm super
right.
easygoing, by the way, like a laid back person.
Sure you are.
There. So collect email addresses. Respondents will be required to sign into Google.
Yeah.
That I don't. If we do that, that means that they have to have a Google account.
Yeah, I don't need that.
All
They
right.
they just have to submit an email. It doesn't have to be a Google email.
So okay. Hold
Yeah.
on. So then
But then if you keep scrolling down, it's
so
under
just the
responses.
responder input. Okay, and then I can turn this on. Always send responders a copy of the response. Always allow response editing. Responses can be changed after being submitted. Do we want to let them edit their responses?
We can just say thank you for your email, or thank you for your design, and we'll be in touch with you shortly, or
No,
something.
there's an automatic. I'm saying once they submit it, they can go back and edit their submission.
I would say almost, my
So
opinion
if
would be
they-
no, just because if we start looking at them, well, not me, but you guys start looking at them, you may not want them to change.
But I think we just turn off accepting responses at the point that the competition ends. We turn off the feature
Okay, so
like
we'll
that
close
allows
the-
for
we'll close the
responses.
form
So
down.
then they can't change it after that.
Mhm.
And that allows
They
them like,
change
oh,
it.
I was trying to upload 2, but I didn't, and da 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 da. You know, they can still. But then once it's like the deadline date, turn off responses and they can't update anymore. That would be my
So
thought.
allow response editing.
If they update it, that's the second submission. We can actually put it as a tantamount to a second submission.
Well, so right now we're limiting it to one response, meaning like they would have to like do the form all over again if they wanted to respond. But so we're limiting it to one response, but that one response they can go back and edit it. So it's like one response per email. And if they forgot something or they need to edit something, they can go in and edit their response.
Okay.
Google lets them do that. It's kind of like, you know, when you like have a survey and sometimes like you have to sit down and do the survey all at one sitting. And Google's like, no, now you can go and take like an hour TV break and then come back to it.
So, so did they can update the response before the timeline? I mean, before the due
Yeah,
date?
so if they submit one and then they decided, oh, you know what? I think I want to do another one. They can go in and change their response and add a second one.
Until the
That would
time of
not
the
be
deadline.
Yeah.
So that won't be considered as submission number 2.
Well,
Think it
yeah,
should be considered as submission number 2.
well, they're submitting 2 designs, so it would be the same as if they submitted 2 designs at once.
Yeah.
It is 2 submissions, but it's just 1 entry.
Yeah,
I guess.
because they just edited their
Yeah,
original.
I understood that. So they can again re-edit, and that'll be submission number 3 from the one participant.
But we'll only see it the one time. They can go in and edit it 4 times,
Okay,
and then, but we'll just see it as one submission with
okay.
possibly 3, with
Oh,
3.
Yeah, it makes it so much less messy. At least like whenever I've done Google form work, like it just
Mhm.
So
then
how many
at
times
the
do
end
they
when
keep
we
on-
turn off our responses and we're like ready to evaluate and look at each, it's all going to be in one place for us versus like, oh, and then they change the email and they, whatever the case may be.
What if they say, well, I like my second edit better than the 5th one, and then that's another, it creates a
They
lot
just
of
upload the ones they want.
Yeah,
They can delete
they're
and
gonna just
upload
over-
whichever one they want.
yeah, they just overwrite what they're submitting is what they're doing.
Okay, then it's
And
fine.
but it's always associated to the one email they submitted their response with.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put all the formatting and stuff for the form in here, so when we copy it over in the other account, it's all mirrored the same.
Do we want to, sorry to break into that stream of thought, but do we want to have any eligibility rules as in terms of age or geographically? Do we want to, can we include or should we be excluding members of the
Geographically-
board?
Geographically, I feel like the goal is to engage people from the communities of this board. I don't know if it's going to be, I mean, but then that means we would have to get their address and then
Yeah.
cross-reference if they're within our borders. And I don't know if they're going to be willing to do that. I don't know.
I think we
But I
could
think
leave
the
the designer's address to be wherever, like if a Manhattanite, it somehow comes across our CV6
Okay.
logo contest, then good on them.
But what if they're from Oklahoma?
Well, that's a real issue because you know how
It's a different
Oklahoma
state.
people are.
Anybody from New
We're
York?
even going there, I'm just saying.
I doubt it.
What do you have
Wait,
against
wait, wait.
Oklahoma, Peter Beetle?
Oh,
Or
we
Nebraska.
We must have did a good job advertising our logo contest then. If we
Exactly.
get submissions from Oklahoma.
I gotta say, I got some reach.
Well,
Could be
I
anywhere
think
between 18 and
probably,
up. 18
New
and up
York
should be
State is a
okay.
reasonable parameter. But I would say that it doesn't, I wouldn't require that the person be a CB6
Okay.
resident
let's not
personally,
confine the
just
person
because I think
to
it would limit us a
CB6.
bunch and we might get a submission. But naturally, I think that how we advertise and who it's gonna get, who we're gonna actually reach is probably gonna be more likely that it's the folks in pretty close proximity. Anyway, just naturally.
Should I
Yeah,
just say New York City
that makes
resident?
sense.
Yeah, I would say New York City resident. I would say the kind of the participatory budgeting guidelines, age 11 and older. I know the
11,
NYPD
I would say
sample that I found
18.
is 12
I
and
would say
older, but
18. You
11
gotta
and
be
older is
responsible.
participatory budgeting, so I thought that might be nice.
18.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Can't
can be
have an
16 and
11-year-old.
on the board, so at least 16. I'm okay with
18,
younger.
I would say, so that they are able to, the waiver form, because otherwise then their guardian has to sign, so that creates another issue. So I would say 18 is a safe option.
Well, I mean, if it's under 18, we can add like if it's their name or whatever, and you can put a certification. I hereby certify I'm 18 years older. If they check no, then it can open the box of have your guardian name
Yeah.
of guardian or whatever, and then have them fill
Yeah.
that out.
Sign the
I
waiver
like that.
form.
I don't want to exclude some talented younger folk,
Yeah.
you know.
So
with
what
the
is, I'm
talent.
sorry, so it must be New York resident, and what is the age range?
Well, that's the question. Is it 11 and up, 12 and up, 16 and up?
I'm not too excited about 11 and up. I would say 15 still, but 11, no. I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to understand about having a logo creation. They may, I'm not sure.
Oh,
How
yeah.
old are you when you go into high school? How about that? Like a high school
freshman-
student?
High school is good.
Freshman's 14. So like if you
So-
wanted, I feel like a sophomore might be a better age, which is 15 and
Like
over.
15?
15 plus, 15
Yeah.
and up.
Okay. Must be New York resident, 15 years.
New York State resident, make it the
New
whole
York State
state.
resident, not New York City resident.
I was thinking of limiting it to New York City, but
So city or state?
city is my submit.
Sorry.
Somebody might from Albany might be able to create a good design for us.
God.
I don't feel strongly on this issue, so what does everyone else think?
I think New York State, why not?
I feel like city might be better because if we're trying to have a logo that represents the community, what does someone in Albany know about the specifics of these neighborhoods?
But if it doesn't resonate, they don't win. They don't get picked.
That's true.
Self-selection.
Or they might not even enter. Right?
Okay, we can change it back to state.
I think that people that don't live in the area might only like participate if they did live here or they moved away or something like that. I don't know. I
That's
mean, I'm not
true.
an artist, so I don't know what drives people to want to create things that they're not getting paid for.
Usually artists, money, right?
Yeah.
And open for all, so no boundaries.
And presumably we're excluding all members of the board and their families and all that kind of stuff?
Look at someone's face.
Or do we not want to do that? Do we want to make it possible for them to participate?
Well,
I
if they
think
can't
anybody can
I don't think
participate, and
they
it's
can
going to
vote.
be you conflict of interest yourself out.
You have to abstain from the vote.
Yeah, that's fair. If you participate, you can't vote. So we
Now,
can
I
put
was
that-
looking at the, is this a vote from the community or is it a community board vote?
so
I don't remember that.
There's
we
two
ha-
parts.
I have it written in the guidelines somewhere. Hold on, sorry. I did put
So
it
the
in there.
community like narrows it down and then the board votes? Is that how it goes?
No,
The committee narrows
committee
to
narrows it
20,
down.
the board narrows it to 5.
And
committee
then the
votes up
public
to
will
5.
vote to the top one.
Okay. Thank you.
It's at the top of the sheet timeline. I have submissions deadline 1 month after competition launches. Round 1, committee picks top 20 for board to review. Round 2, the board picks their top 5 for the public to decide. And then the final, the public, it'll be a public poll via Google form for the public to vote on, number 1.
Thank you.
So when we're looking at the public, who all we are getting in? Everybody?
The public will be whoever comes to our website, whoever sees us on Facebook, whoever sees us on X. So that's where we would post the results for the voting, and they'll have access to the poll that way.
Yeah, we could send it to our email list.
And
Oh, yeah,
then
then
we
we
send
could
could
emails
have a
too.
deadline for the public to decide as well.
Yeah, there's definitely, so, I mean, I had mathed this with the competition actually launching later this week. So whatever, so like the timeline, there's a timeline in there. So whenever we actually go with this, we can just adjust the dates, but I mathed it so you can see like you have a month for submissions, then from whenever the submissions we get, we have like 2 days to narrow it down to the 5. Then we give that 5 to the board. Then the board, whenever the board meets, then they have like what, or however they decide, they vote. They have like X number of days. And then we're giving it, I think, a week for the public to vote. And so in that week, we will have to kind of increase our activity to bring it to the forefront on like people's feeds and stuff on social platforms so that they know this is happening so we can really engage the community and get them to vote. I did not know that we were going to do an email blast, Christine. So if you want, I can also like just take that copy that I have for like social media. We can like tweak it for an email, just like make it short, sweet, and fun.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't mean to create more work for you. I just figured to reach more people.
I didn't think email. I just thought social media. Like I know at the very beginning when we started meeting for this term, one of the main goals was to increase eyes on our platforms and to increase engagement. And so, you know, that's why I had mentioned the Monopoly board game thing, because I know it's like another enterprise, but I just thought like it's community. It's just more like if we share things like that, that can engage people in our community to like kind of show your community pride, we can get more people, hey, look, they're posting this cool stuff. We should follow them because then we get news like this, that kind of thing. So that's email's fine too, because then we could also include the link or whatever to the social and the emails, and they'll go that way. All right, cool. Anything
Okay.
else?
I think we pretty much wrapped up everything.
All right. Where is that? Where?
So we should be ready for getting the approval from the board now.
Yeah, I think we have what we need to answer those questions.
Hmm.
Well, I put it on our April 3rd meeting, which we have to like get ready for, even though we just had a meeting. So our meeting is April 3rd. So we can bring it up at that meeting.
So next, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna real quick, next steps. Peter, you said you were gonna flesh out the copy for the legal terms.
Yep, working on it now, actually.
And Peter, I'm happy to be your second set of eyes once you're ready.
Okay, so I'll take a first run through and then I'll share with you, Salwa.
Oh, you spell, okay, I think I got it right. I hope I spelled your name right in the notes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anything
then
else
the
you want to
only thing I
discuss?
didn't- The only thing I didn't create was like an actual official poster for the New York Link. So that was the thing we talked, are we gonna use New York Link? I know that was like a free program, so on and so forth.
I can reach out to them and see what their like regulations or what they need to advertise it on there.
Mm-hmm. Because I
Like
didn't
what the
see any,
requirements are.
I didn't really create a super fun like graphic with all like the terms and conditions. Like I didn't create like a fun PDF that has like all the rules and everything. I can mock one up, make it a little bit more like enticing. And then whatever I mock up can be this, whatever we put for the website, we could also put on New York Link. It's just a matter of adjusting the dimensions of the file that they need to advertise. Now that we have these rules and guidelines, and then once we get the terms and conditions, I can also like stipulate like just a short version of terms and conditions so that they understand like part of agreeing to this, you're doing this. And then we can put that together. I'll do that later this week and get that to you. I'll add it to all these documents that we're sharing among ourselves. That's cool. Do we feel good about this, guys? Because I do.
Yeah, I think it's coming together.
Yeah, it is coming together now. So when should we have our next meeting after that? So once the board approves, we got to start moving things.
Okay. That's a good question. It is March 18th. The board, you said, is meeting on the 3rd?
Yeah, April 3rd.
So after that,
This is the tough part because we have a bunch of holidays. Passover takes up like half of Easter this year.
Sorry,
No, it's cool.
I'm having a different thought
Oh,
on a
what's your
different
thought?
thing, but I don't know if I should. I'm now thinking about how we've kind of the structure. So we get all the submissions, we, the committee, review them, do the initial review, narrow it down to up to 20 of the submissions that we forward on to the board. To have them narrow it down to 5. We would have to do that. I think we need to do that also by a Google form, kind of like the way that we do voting or budget priorities.
Yeah, we can do that
Yeah, we can
because
do that.
if it's one of, because that's the thing, it's one of two ways. You either wait for the meeting for them to vote on it, which I don't know if you really want to do that at a board meeting, or
Right.
if it's just an email to them with a form that they can go through on their own and just vote on, and then we just tally it up and take the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone would be able to vote for up to 5.
Mhm.
And then the top 5 vote getters using that form become the 5 that we submit to the public.
Okay, so I'll just make that board picks their top 5 for public to decide top 5. I'll just write via Google form.
Yeah, because we can't, the wheels would come off if we took it to a general board meeting and say, okay, let's have a discussion about 20 submissions. Submissions that not necessarily every board member had reviewed prior to
Yeah,
that
that's
being
fair.
in the room.
So, but then we would have to give them, so I think I had figured they would decide like in a day or two. So whatever we decide, we have to give them like a very strict, like firm, you got 3 days to scroll through these 20 images and vote.
Yeah, 5 might be better. But yeah, it can be the kind of thing where we have a deadline for when we're gonna send that out, and then it goes out like in one of the 5 Friday blasts.
Okay.
Or probably actually its own standalone, maybe. What do you think, Christine? Is it better as its own standalone so it's seen,
Yeah,
or is
I
it
think
better
And-
part of the
I
Friday?
try to do, I mean, we could do it on a Friday. What I try to do is if it's something that I think needs extra attention, I'll send it on a Friday morning because the Friday email blast usually goes out in the afternoon. So that's how I differentiate the two. So if we wanted it to go out, I think it's good that it goes out on a Friday because people can look at it over the weekend. And then, but I think it should be a separate email, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and then give them a short deadline, by the following Wednesday or at most by the following Friday. A week
Friday.
at the
You
most,
maybe 1 week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they
1
get
week
a
is
week.
good.
with a reminder email in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
gonna just put some notes here in the timeline. Like I have like a very rough project timeline in that document. So see, sent via email Friday blast, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it would,
Friday
it
morning.
would be sent to the board on a Friday.
Okay, send via email Friday blast with a reminder email midweek, and then 1 week to decide. All right.
And Emily, sorry, just I don't want to forget. In regard to the Google form, if you wanted to add me as one of the editors, I can kind of tweak and any typos or adding quotes to the words community boards. Like, I'm happy to.
If you
Collaborator.
guys want,
There we go. Yes, I will add you as a collaborator. Bear with me while I
So-
find your email.
if you guys want, I should be able to do it tomorrow, set up the Google form in our email. I just don't want you guys doing all this work and then we have to like copy it into the other email.
Mhm.
So I'll do my best to set it up tomorrow in our email, if
Okay.
that's okay. And then I'll add, and then I'll give everybody permission to edit it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, I
This
mean,
way-
we have a template that we can when you do give us access, we can just copy it over to that, and then we
Okay.
can continue working in that one. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Can make
From
everybody
the
edit
Google
it.
Doc, Christine, when you Christine enter the Google Doc inside of the CB6 at Gmail, it'll give you the option to copy it,
Oh, okay.
and then that's yours. Nobody else can see it if you don't want them to. Of course, in your case, you want to become owner of it and you want to collaborate with us so that you can share it with us and we can help you edit or whatever. But literally it doesn't matter because you can make a copy of it yourself. So it'll
Okay.
be all
I'm
yours.
gonna add you.
I
as a
just didn't, I felt bad that everyone was like doing all this work and then tomorrow I'm gonna be like, oh, well, now I'm making a new one to start over.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm gonna add you as a collaborator, Christine, to this Google
Okay.
form that I have. And then, like she said, and then if you're a collaborator, you can then add the account as a collaborator and then make a copy and so on and so forth. Or, we could do that.
Okay.
sending that to you. So you should have that. Peter, Renee, do you want access to the form too, or are you just gonna wait for the official one so you're not confused with two different forms?
I'm content to wait.
Okay.
I'll let that be your domain
All
to do that.
right.
Emily, this was such a beautiful document.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Honestly, at my job, when we used to do campaigns, there's like many different formats we have depending on campaign. So this is kind of like a hybrid of different formats, and I just kind of made it all one document. We usually have like 4 separate documents that are then linked and cross-referenced, but that's how, because when you deal with multi-channel marketing campaigns, there's a lot of moving pieces. And so I was just like, this is going to become this because I want it to be this because we want it to be big and have results. So yeah,
I feel like we need Emily on our community board.
I missed the deadline.
Christine, can you suggest some dates for us for our next meeting?
April is pretty much open with the exception of like holidays.
Is tax day a holiday for the Queens Community Board? Because that's like a month out from now.
No.
Although I don't know if everyone stresses and needs that day free, but that's, that's
Do
a
we want to go
Monday.
with April 15th?
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Is
And
that
it's
good for
before-
We'll
everybody?
probably be away then, but
Because it's before
Prior
the
to
holiday
that.
break.
I can partake. That my tax day is my kiddo's birthday.
Oh,
And we try to get a trip in, so let's see.
You're getting a trip in before the New York City school trip vacation time? Good one. I mean, I'm pretty flexible. I'm free. So I know that we try and keep Passover free. So it's either before or after. You guys, what do your calendars look like? What does a board's calendar look like?
April is really open. We have a meeting on April 18th. That's the only April meeting I have scheduled right now. And April 3rd is our community board meeting. So we could do really any day. The 10th is
10th is
a
end of
holiday.
Ramadan.
Yeah, that's why our meeting was moved up to the 3rd.
Okay.
So we'll
So
not.
it's
schedule
not
that
confirmed
day.
yet, but I will say I am throwing a small wrench. I said I'm pretty free, but I'm looking at the calendar and I forgot. I might be out of town the 8th and the 9th. My friend and I are trying to go see the total solar eclipse, which is on Monday the 8th.
Oh,
Yeah, there is a solar eclipse on the 8th. Yeah.
You're like
So-
the 3rd or 4th person that told me they were chasing the eclipse.
Well, it's not, I mean,
My friend is going to Canada.
oh, no, we're going to go upstate. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to.
We're going to Arkansas.
Oh, look at you.
I do have family there.
So yeah, so that we're thinking it's not yet set in stone because she just got back and we've been thinking about this. But anyways, but other than that, like I can do. I know
Week of the
Thursdays are not good.
22nd is Passover, right?
Yeah, it's starting that week, the 22nd. Oh, I know schools are closed starting the 22nd and they're closed until the 1st of May.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they get 7 days off.
Okay.
So like, I just know that they have that. It's like an extra Monday, Tuesday.
I think
Is
with
everybody set on Monday? We could. What about Wednesday the 17th?
I can do Wednesday. I just know Thursdays aren't good.
Oh wait,
have
Saba,
a-
are you away a whole week?
We have our police
Well,
precinct
let me,
meeting.
I'm sorry, let me try to clarify. What is this date for?
The next committee meeting.
Next committee meeting.
Yeah, the
Christine,
17th is
17th
totally
no
fine.
good for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, so we're gonna. You guys are gonna present to the board on the 3rd, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we almost can. Like, can we do like communication through email and then set up like a May meeting once we have. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Because after the board approves it, then what our next step is really just to start.
Launch.
Yeah.
Start the whole process.
then we start running out of session.
That's true, because if we're gonna launch and then if everything closes by end of June, we have until end of June. So this is.
Were folks open to like April 11 and 12?
I'm open for that. I just know that Thursdays lately is not good for, I think, is it you, Renee, that Thursdays don't work?
We don't,
April
we try
11th
not
is
to
what
do
day?
meetings on Friday.
Yeah, and then Fridays we don't do meetings. That's right.
So I'm sorry, actually, let me go back to the timeline to make sure I understand. So our goal is to meet in between 4/3, which is the approval date in theory. So
Mhm.
4/3 is the approval date, and then okay, so this timeline is a little bit off, right?
Yeah, my timeline was
Yeah.
based on like we
I
got the
see, I see.
approval after their meeting, so
Um,
I just gotta adjust. I'll adjust it to reflect that.
gotcha.
So
So would we want to launch before the next community board meeting? So we announce it for board approval April 3, and then by, when is the next one?
We'd want to launch like
May-
immediately after.
After
Yeah.
the 3rd, yeah. The next meeting is May 8th.
May 8th. So before the May 8th meeting, we want to have launched and have submissions for them to look at? No, because we're giving them a month.
We're giving
So-
them a month and we don't need to have submissions ready for a physical meeting because we'll do it through
there's
a
gonna be a
forum.
physical meeting. They're
Yeah.
gonna get, yeah.
Okay. So really, we just need a date to say, hey, guys, April 3rd, we received board approval, and now do we have everything we need to launch? Do we
I think that's
have
really what it is.
IT
Just
in place? Do we have the Google form functioning properly? That's what we need, right?
yeah, I think that's what it is. We just want to, I guess, get all our ducks in a row before we actually hit launch.
So let's say we launch it on